All right, gentlemen. So how did we get here? Where are you going?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I
You don't know where you're moving?
No. I know. Puerto Rico.
Where are you going?
Puerto Rico.
You excited about Puerto Rico? Where are you going?
Puerto Rico.
I'm moving to Puerto Rico.
Oh yeah? You excited about that?
Yes and no. I don't need to hear the garage. Like every morning, they go playing loud music. My room's it's right under the garage.
What are you excited about?
Okay, the exciting thing that I can see sharks and new stuff, and I don't know if I can swim.
Oh, you haven't learned how to swim yet?
Yeah.
Oh, and you're going to learn how to swim in the ocean?
Yeah, but I'm going to practice in a swimming pool. What ocean?
The ocean that's in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
There's a 1%, I want to say 10% chance I'm going to get eaten by a shark.
What about sharks? Are you scared of sharks?
No, they're more scared of you than you're scared of them.
What if your mom cooks something really weird and says you have to eat it? Are you going to be excited about eating it?
No.
Yeah.
No, not.
No?
No.
It can't be a state or a country without tacos. And the food I want to try the most, it's actually a food and a drink, a coconut.
I don't want to learn Spanish.
Why not?
Because then my whole family will have to talk Spanish. I don't like that they speak Spanish. No.
You don't want to learn it?
No. It's evil.
It's evil? Why do you think Spanish is evil?
Because it's not Texas stuff. Like, we don't have to walk and go everywhere with our legs. That's wild, though.
Are y'all bringing Duke?
Yes! On the flight!
Yeah?
Yeah! Yeah, baby!
You love your mom?
Yeah.
You love your dad?
Yeah.
So, do you love that you're going to move to Puerto Rico?
No.
No?
Not
Why
really.
not?
Because it's going to be a long time and I'm going to be bored.
Puerto Rico? Do you ever want to leave?
No. No!
Why is the beach cool?
Because you can make sandcastles, and me, Groot, and Cash made a big sandcastle, and it broke. It was bigger than this chair.
Corey, you're pretty good on the plane, huh?
Yes! He snores. He snores in his room. I never snore. He did. No. My grandma heard him snore before. No.
Proud of you guys for moving out here. I love you. And when you think about it, 10 years ago, I didn't know y'all. And I didn't get you a Christmas present, but I got you something because I appreciate your partnership. And it went from hired you as the coaches, to then you hired me as a coach, to then friends, then this and that, now we're partners. So, as for you, Michael, and
he always knows who does it.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my goodness, son, what are you thinking?
Hey, don't.
You know,
Same
you know
time,
what the
same
funny
time.
thing is?
What's that?
I'm not gonna. I'll tell you later.
Holy shit.
Man, you
My
can't do that.
man.
Show the
Dog,
camera,
what?
show the camera, yeah.
Look at that beauty. Dude, you didn't have to do that.
We haven't had to do a lot of things.
That is gorgeous.
What's that? What's that?
You know what's funny?
I hope that's the one.
So let's see.
No way. Yeah, you shouldn't have done that.
I guess. Did I guess right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, don't worry, you ain't gonna fit your fat wrist anyway. You gotta get 2 links. Well, because like 2 years ago, you're like, Al, you need to buy a presidential. That's the one you gotta buy. The presidential. I knew that was the one. I knew.
This is so badass. Dude, man. Love you, man.
Love you too.
Shit, no.
Sweet.
Yeah, you
I like that
you
one.
definitely know you did.
I probably would not buy that one. I wouldn't wear that one. I mean, I knew you wanted that one, but that's yours. But I would. That was more mine.
I know, but I don't even feel like. I mean, I'm gonna hug you because it's the motions, but like, I don't feel like you should ever have to. I mean, I know you did. So
I don't have to do shit.
I know, but you shouldn't have. Anyway.
I was a better gift giver than
Hey,
me.
listen.
That's for sure.
You know what the thing is with those?
That's what I told him.
Those are investments.
He's been one of the greatest ever.
I feel like y'all are both like in shock over here. Babe, maybe you should just take advice from Al on.
Yeah, let me mute.
I'm so happy I can be here for this moment. Like, it warms my heart.
3, 2, 1. Get in there.
Happy New Year!
So how did we get here?
American Airlines.
that's the easy answer. I think we got here by years and years and years of beating on our craft and trying to add value to people's lives and looking for a better way. There's always got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way, man. We said it so many years.
We were just looking for a better life.
There had to be a better way. It had to be easier than what we were doing.
Where did it start?
It started selling real estate. It started building a team and you know, you build a big business and you know, you set these goals to sell a certain number of transactions and then you know, you get awarded for that if you're at, you know, any of the companies that are out there and they, hey, good job, but what's the next level is 100 transactions. Then you get this award, a premier award. That's what it was, a Coal of Anchor. It's like, I want to sell 100 transactions. None of it was about getting time freedom. It's a transaction treadmill. That's what they're teaching you in real estate. Sell more houses.
I think one of the ways that we got here, as you're saying, you know, as you asked the question is, there was a time where our real estate businesses, because of timing of the internet and because of where we were age-wise, there was unique opportunities that allowed us to, opportunity. We were looking for opportunity. So this is what I think happened. This is part. I believe that Jay was always, me and Jay was willing to share with anybody. That's a fact. And he can say whatever he wants, but he's always been a giver. And there was a time when that crossover of sharing with people, we learned how to monetize. So you have like the industrial age with Google and people able to produce content. YouTube came out in 2005. The smartphone came out in 2005. He pushed me into the pool with my BlackBerry, so I know we were doing this before the iPhone. But there was a long history of us, and as video was hard because you know you didn't have 5G, 4G, whatever it was. It was hard to watch video on your phone. So for us, it was timing. Timing was impeccable. There was a time where we just wanted a landing page. Things that are really easy now used to be really difficult, almost to the point. And so we caught a vision and realized and thought of real estate bigger than our own backyard. We thought, I mean, what's popular now in 2021 of being able to add value to someone in Alaska wasn't common in 2005. No one thought about producing content. So we would produce content, and there was something else that had come out that was very popular, which was email marketing, digital marketing. There was no Facebook, there was no social media, but there was information on Google. So when people would go out online and search, there was your ability to do paid advertisement and be in front of those people. And there was a gap in 2009. That's when we were doing Frank Kern, and we were doing Facebook. we weren't marketing on Facebook, but we were becoming part of the platform where we were putting content on Facebook. And that's where I think the game changed. I think the game changed from like 06 to 09, where we were building audiences and producing content. And that content went from being able to consume it in your email box to being able to see it in your news feed on your smartphone. And through that transition, it was bumpy. We were like the leaders out in front of the wave. And then as the social media part came on, other people who were introduced to that, who had social media in their background, or that was the first course that they bought, and they got into the game there, they were working on a better way, a higher leverage way, where you weren't hoping someone would open their email, but you were betting on your ability to get attention. And so all of that attention, all we were doing is putting content into the marketplace. And and to be honest with you, I would say part of the struggle that we had was also part of our success, because before us there was somebody, but the person before us didn't latch on to the new way quick enough. And so I feel like we got our stripes of, and I think the future is being able to learn, unlearn, and learn again. And so understanding that, we went through that phase. And I think there was a little humbling and being young. Being as young as you are when you were started, and to be able, it's like someone who's like, yeah, I've been through 4 hurricanes, like, oh, I've been through that. I've had that experience. They're not scared of it. For us, we had been through so much that we still had the energy to come back. And it was that comeback, I think, that and that mindset of, looking for a better way and believing that, we were always going to blow up, and that we could do anything, and having the success and the failure. I think it was a combination of that it was, and I'm not saying that we were built for this, but I'm saying that, that
we had the belief.
Yeah.
We used to say it all the time, dude, we're about to blow up. We're about to blow up. We always believed it. Always. And it was always a little further around the corner than we thought. It was always, before it would ever happen, it was like, when we saw it, we're like, dude, this is going to work. This is going to work. It didn't work. All right, this time it's going to work. This time it's going to work. Like, pushing through was always what we did.
But I do believe that me and Jay and everybody that, that we worked with at a high level, were really always looking. All I can say is, like, if you ask me the question, hey, Mike, why did you start coaching and quit selling? It would be like, well, why did you quit working with buyers? I feel like there was always, we were looking for opportunity to get more leverage. And that might have been just simple so we could get a bigger boat or go to the lake and stay longer, in the beginning, or get a lake house or get something, that was material. But I do believe that there was a time in which we believed that you could make money online, right? And if you think about that kind of that mirage of make money online, the thing is could we make money and not only do it for trading our time? I think that was from the very first time when we built the first landing page.
Time freedom.
Yeah, time freedom.
4-hour work week.
Yeah, that was part of
the sexiness.
The sexiness, yeah.
Right. And
it happened. All I know for a fact is that Jay went to a Jay Abraham conference, and Jay Abraham told you a story about why. There was this whole thing, I feel like, as we grew, that we were coaching agents. Especially in the beginning, maybe not much conversation after the beginning, but I know in the very beginning when we were raw, we were like, man, if we could get paid on a transaction. That was kind of a brief conversation. But documented, you had that recommendation from Jay Abraham.
My question is, I'm in a small community, Lawton, Oklahoma, population of about 100,000. I command about 12% market share, and we're trying to grow the business, but we realize that our biggest potential is duplicating this business real estate model.
Yep.
Is duplicating this real estate model, if you will, in another
Other
market.
places.
And by moving from an area that's 100,000 average sell price, I can raise my my average unit of sell doubly in another market. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, going back, we have a lot of work to do clearly to implement in our business. What is the series of questions you need to answer in order to know you're ready to duplicate or replicate that business in another market?
There's two. The first one is, if you move yourself out of your current business to concentrate on replicating it either through partners, through new operations, through joint ventures. Sure. And I'll tell you something, by the way. if I were you, all these guys I trained, I mean, Joe Stumpfen and Brian Buffini and well, Tom Ferry, half and half, and his dad was already doing it. And Craig Proctor, they all came to my programs before they were teaching anybody, and they went out and did trainings. If I were doing it today, I wouldn't be a trainer and try to teach it that way. I'd joint venture with other agencies so that they had the yoke of the overhead, you had the marketing, and you got a share of the upside, and you had an equity type of an interest, so you had an asset, because their businesses aren't sellable. They make a lot of money, but they're not sellable. My business is very low. I mean, it makes me 7 figures, but it's not very sellable, and that's not what you really want. You're young enough to recognize that. But I think the first thing is being clear that if you walk away to concentrate on that, your business isn't going to fall apart. So it's the systems, the process, the procedure, instilling a culture that is enduring and that everybody sort of follows, establishing yourself preemptively in your community. I'm thinking, and I'm sorry we didn't get the book concept really developed. You should have a book written for you and have everybody give it away. Put a system together that seems replicatable, and then go out and again, everyone else is trying to sell training. I wouldn't. I'd sell partnership. I want to be your partner. If you can afford it, tell them that you'll fund your own triple out. You know, you want basically a piece of the upside or a piece of the business. Find somebody who is ambitious, directable, has good values in a market that you can collaborate with. That to me would be a greater wealth creator, because someone will buy that. They aren't going to buy it if you got this great system and you want to do seminars, and so you'll make some money. You might make $1 million, but no one's going to. That $1 million isn't worth $1 million. But if you had 20 or 25 or 125 partners out there, each of them tripling their business, somebody will buy that from you for a lot of money. Does that make sense?
Brilliant. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. So I don't know if that was subliminal, but over time, you know, we decided that we wanted to get out of the coaching business.
Right.
You know, and the coaching business was.
We were trying to evolve back to, you know, how do we provide more value to the agent? What does that compensation look like? Where we get paid on every transaction, as opposed to the lifetime value of a customer as a coaching client. They're going to cancel eventually, because we don't coach you on accountability. We coach you on framework of how to make decisions in your business. So we teach you how to make decisions. Eventually, you don't need us. When you get good enough at that, you need us because we've been where you haven't been, and that's where the real value in a mentor is. But we weren't just trying to teach you accountability. We weren't, you know, but at a certain point, you're still going to cancel. It doesn't matter. There's no coaching company in any industry that keeps them all forever. And so you have attrition. And when you have attrition, you know, there's a limit. That means there's a lid to the model, and there's got to be a better way. And was it better than slinging 50 houses a month? Absolutely it was. But there still had to be a better way. And for us, we evolved to providing more value, moving down the value chain, and capturing a little bit of everything you did. If we took you came on as a client, and we helped you go from 20 transactions to 200 transactions, we collected the same amount of money no matter whether you did that or not. But if we captured a piece of the transaction, we would have had the lifetime value of you as a client would have been a lot higher. And that's what we were looking at with Partner. And that's what we saw was the opportunity. We just didn't quite have all the pieces of the puzzle that we have now.
And I'll be honest, as we're talking, I think our number one thing was we weren't scared to start over. If there was, we weren't gonna keep, if we understood that there was a better way to do the business, we weren't gonna continue to do it the whole way.
There's no way.
Not knowingly. That was not an option. Even if that meant a lot of work, we would immediately stop and go the other direction. And I think that just happened enough times.
How did you find out? Tell us about the birthday cake.
I signed up for a Jesse Isler event. We were all together at Traffic and Conversion. Probably the best speaker I ever heard speak at the time. I thought he was amazing.
He was.
I was like, I'm about to turn 40. I'm doing this thing. I'm going to climb this mountain. It's called the Everest Challenge. And so I signed up. I texted Mike. he's in this room. I signed up. I think I texted you the actual what I
You did.
proof of it. Paid my money. I'm in. And sometime between the time it was time to fly, and I don't remember this part, but sometime between the time it was time to fly out to go do that deal and the time that we were at this event, EXP became real hot on the map. And there was an event, and it just happened to be at the same time as the event that I was supposed to go climb Mount Everest with Mike and Woods. And I know I didn't want to explain it. I didn't want to have to explain it, so I just didn't show up.
Is that how you thought?
I think so, man. I think I didn't want to try because I know you would have sold me on get your ass here. You know you want to do this. Da, da, da.
That would have been an expensive sell.
Yeah, but you would have probably. I mean, I know you would have closed me, dude. I know you. I had my shit together. My bags were packed. I was gonna go.
I'm glad you didn't.
Until I didn't. But I was like, I know how to get out of something with Mike. Is you don't let him sell you because if you're gonna get closed. I knew that, and so I just did not answer calls that morning, and I went and investigated it. And when I got there, it was crazy, man. I walked in the room and I was like, it felt like an EGS. It felt like one of our events. And then I started looking around. I see a handful of people that came through our camp, and then smart people. People, everything makes so much sense in this business model, and it's got to be, either I got to believe in it, or I got to quit talking about it. So I went to the event, and I talked to Brent Gove, Jason Gessie, Glenn Sanford, and I say, and their vision was in the same alignment with our values of what we were doing. And I was like, is this just the way to do what we're trying to do bigger and better? And that's when it all clicked. It was the right move, and we had to at least give it a shot. And the big question mark was, they were at 5,000 agents. That went across the screen at the event. The big question mark was, will agents stay or will they not stay? Because if they don't stay, this is a waste of time. If they love it, then it's the biggest opportunity I've ever seen in my life. If they don't and they leave, we're going to start the next chapter and it'll be something else, right? But my hope was at least we could add enough value to the people that come with us that they would stay. And they're better off staying if we could help them, you know what I'm saying? And I knew we could help them better than most people could help them. Even if EXP didn't have the best systems and processing payment, this, that, and the other, wasn't great, we could at least convince them to stay long enough that until it got better. And the reality was, even though we were early, it was still amazing. They loved it. They just didn't leave. They delivered on a high level in a very early stage of a company that's now worth $3 billion. It's very simple to say why it works now. Back then, they just finished the season of keep the wheels between the ditches and get your agents paid on time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a season, right? Like, how long does you last if you don't pay your agents on time? Not very long in real estate. Rule number one in real estate, brokerage, pay your agents on time. What's rule number two?
Pay your agents on time.
That's it. Pay your agent. You don't pay your agents on time, they gone. And so they just come out of that season, and kind of me unknowingly knowing that, I learned it later, that's why there was a lot of bitterness around some of the conversations, but they just come out of that and started nailing that. And so we hit it at the time where it wasn't quite as bad when some other people joined. And I think that it was a perfect storm. As a matter of fact, the perfect storm drink right here that Mike's drinking, was the perfect storm. Add us to the equation, us adding value, adding validity to the model, and enough people were just as crazy as us to believe and joined with us, and that's where we're at.
The truth is that, for about 6 months, I mean, I remember walking by Jay's office, there was a couple critical decisions. One of them was, the critical decision, I think about this all the time. The business unit was a critical decision, and not signing a lease. Those were two critical decisions,
right.
The flex space.
Right.
Getting in flex space created the ability to make decisions differently and options. And so, I think that's important for people to understand is that we had a $10 million or $8 million or $9 million business, whatever you want to call it.
$2 million brokerage, almost right at $8 million in coaching and consulting.
Yeah, and so if you look at that business, and for us, the question was, it wasn't leading us. We didn't have a clear path to get to where we wanted to go, but we had a clear, and from my perspective, I knew we would work until we died.
Right. We weren't giving up.
We weren't gonna give up, so it was gonna be when the guy goes down with the ship, and that was just like, hey, that's only in the movie, dog. We ain't gotta really go down. We can jump on one of those boats. We the bosses,
Right.
And we can get that one right there and just go ahead right that way. We ain't gotta go down with
Right.
the ship.
Right.
And so it was no fun anymore. And the reason it was no fun is because I'll tell you why. To be honest with you, the coaching and training model was no fun because we got to the point where we were having to sell people that couldn't afford coaching by selling them coaching in a way that they would respond, which was how to zero cost your coaching, which was and that was just by the grace of God, because we couldn't sell it anyway, and we couldn't sell it, to be honest with you, because in my opinion, people
We have attrition. Once you have a normalized attrition,
but
25 customers leave, and then you could have 25 to stay where you're at, or you could bump it up to 40 so you can keep growing.
Yeah.
What do you think you're gonna do?
But
we want to bump it up to the next level.
But I think where we lost, honest to God, is that I've thought this from day one, is that we were just slow on social media. Remember that lady we hired for?
Kim Addis.
Yeah. And I'm talking about like even later, like we didn't have a social media. I'll be honest. Let me say, I didn't understand social media the way I would look at it now. And even when I did start to understand it, I still didn't understand it based upon when I thought I understood it the most. And so social media was coming, and people weren't the promotional inbox. We made money off of email. Let's not get it twisted.
100%.
That's how we made our money.
Right.
And when email stopped working, we just had to put better emails out. And the only way you could put better emails out was make the offer different through email, versus we thought, okay. And so the people that were tuning us out, the people that were tuning us in was a different client. I'll never forget, Al Stacy called me and said, Mike, he said to me, I don't want to coach anymore. I said, what do you mean? He was like, this sucks. These people don't do what they're supposed to do. I don't know where you're finding them, but this don't look like the people I saw at Exponential Growth Summits. And I was like, and so our messaging, in order to survive, we were toying around with it, and we thought, and we were changing the offer, and it, to be honest with you, it's just like anything, dude. I bet business owners are like this right now. It's just, have you ever been in a place where you just don't know why what was working just stopped working, but it stopped working? And over time, when you have a big overhead and you're
huge overhead.
A huge overhead, and you're pot committed,
$500,000 a month overhead.
Yeah, you have to figure that out.
That's a problem.
Yeah, and so we were.
You ain't got a whole lot of time to.
But
figure it out.
But if we wouldn't have had the overhead, we wouldn't take the risk, and we wouldn't have ended up here. You have to have that.
Yeah,
to
it
push
was.
you.
Yeah, 100%.
When we made those commitments, what we were really committing on is how committed are you to getting to where you want to go, and when I'll never forget. Remember when we got locked out of the building and you went to your house? You remember that?
Huh?
You remember that when you called me up from downtown to come to the office, and it was 279, and we had the gap, and we got to the office and we were locked out, and Woods had to drive all the way to Starwood to let us in, and me and you stood there and waited for him.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Yeah. And then we had to get in the building just so we could try to figure out how to make $279,000. And we have been on that ride for a little bit, and to be honest with you, that's what killed us. And what really killed us, taking a step back, where we really, let's just be real vulnerable, if I could go back in time and give us one piece of advice, where we really messed up is we should have made Jay Abraham write the book. We should have made him write the book.
Yep.
And we should have taken that content, all that content, and put it on YouTube. But we weren't thinking of social media. We didn't put one. We paid Jay Abraham $250,000 per year and didn't make one post on social media.
Yeah,
we paid him $250,000 for a year and didn't make one post, dude.
Right.
And so we did strategic marketing masters, which should have been strategic marketing midgets, right? Right?
Right.
I mean, think about all the videos we could have posted in 2013 with Jay Abraham on YouTube.
Right.
You know, in the book, in the content, we just didn't get it. We were getting to where we were now, but and we had the and we were starting to lose the resources, and the resources like Daniel and all those people were brought on under. Like when I went to Daniel and tried to talk to him about working with Wally and doing blogs and stuff, it was almost like he was. I'll never forget. It was almost like, yeah, I don't want to do that.
Right.
Then I was like, well, someone got to do something around here because what we ain't doing ain't working. Can everyone share? People are disappearing, dog. This ain't the Wizard of Oz. Niggas was in that office and they used to be in that office and ain't nobody here no more. So you got to figure something out or you got to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
It was like, well, and then they would go in there. I mean, it was just this thing. And you know what happens, dude? Because we were so successful, but what we knew was we knew messaging, we knew what we knew, but dude, it was quote unquote, it was like Netflix. It was a game changer. We were Blockbuster, just like our competitors who didn't get on email till late and never really figured it out.
Right.
We had to go through that same experience. Now, you know, I don't think there's anything that I mean, social media is like social media had been around since 1990. When we got in the game, we were already paying the big dudes. We would have learned that.
Right.
You see what I mean? But none of our gurus taught us that.
Right.
You know, there was
none of them did.
None of them because they didn't figure it out.
They didn't get it. Yeah.
And so
they're still trying to figure it out.
They're still trying to figure out because they're
all those gurus, dude. All of them. None of them. The gurus that taught us did not ever get social media, and they're still catching up.
And where he let me tell you something. I posted a video. You may not remember this. I was running around the track. I did the first Facebook Live. And Jay,
I know exactly.
And Jay said to me, dude, we need to go Facebook Live every day at 9 o'clock in the morning or something. He was trying to do the drive time, right? Remember?
I was trying to set it up like what we
it was
know.
brilliant. No, if we would have done that, that would have been one little strategy on social media that aligned to our strength.
It would have been.
That would have built an audience that we could have done. And I was like,
people could tune in every day.
He was like, so I want you. He was like, and I was like, so now I got to come here every day and shoot a video every single day.
Every day.
And I'm
come back here.
Yeah, and I'm trying to take the handcuffs off. You don't see what I'm trying to. I'm trying to get out of here every day.
Out of jail.
Yeah.
I got to go all the way downtown, run the brokerage, then drive up the subway during traffic at 5 o'clock, and do another video.
But it would have been brilliant. But I didn't understand. We didn't understand what we didn't understand, and even where but it all led to. Because you remember there was a time you said, man, they're coming from the podcast. Remember when you used to tell me that?
Every single person.
He used to tell me that in the very beginning. He was like, they're all coming from the podcast, and we were hitting. Guess what? We stopped the podcast.
We stopped doing.
We're about to fire it back up.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, dude, is that
you got to. Well, the lesson I think is, man, you got to evolve quick.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be agile. You can't be tied.
Clubhouse.
Yeah, Clubhouse. Clubhouse is next. That's it. It's coming. It's already here. And that's like real time. It's real time podcasting.
Yeah. It's
Live
content too. Yeah. And we did get on the content game. You went to HubSpot under the coaching business unit. And I remember you were like, the method.
The method. I got all the URLs.
Yeah, he was like, so we were trying to build the coaching back up. He was like,
that's what happened.
He walked up to me and he said, hey man, you got a couple minutes? I got something I want to run by you. And I walked in there, he had it on the wall. He was like, the method. What do you think about it? I was like, dude, I love it. I was thinking, and he was showing me all this, but he was in there chipping away, right? And didn't we always divide and conquer when it was hard?
Yeah.
Huh?
Divided, yeah. That was a good strategy.
The handcuffs. Take the handcuffs off me, I'll take them off you.
Yep.
That's the one thing that me and Jay did is we had trust when it was hard. It would be like, hey, listen, one of us runs faster. You unlock my handcuffs or I unlock yours. You block them at the door. You lay fire, and one of us got to run. But someone's got to run with the gun.
Let me tell you, you always give Mike the biggest opportunity because he will land that deal. I don't care what it takes. I don't care how long it takes. I sat in the room, the Infusionsoft deal, was probably the most, honestly, I mean, they should document that in some kind of book someday, that of how to close a deal just through sheer perseverance. Like, you put that whole deal together, and I was like, you just warmed down. You just warmed down. And we're going to get a check, by the way, just so you know. We're about to get a check. We're going to get a check. Another check. We've been getting money for, that paid for 5 years.
Yeah.
One of the best things we ever did. Not the best thing we ever did strategically, but money-wise, it was one of the best things we ever did. So, but we about to get a check. But
Big
it
check.
was not easy. But you put Mike on those deals, you go get the deal done. That's what I learned. Divide and conquer. Like, hey, listen, let me manage the people. I'll make them feel special. I can love on them. You go put the deals together. He's the deal maker. That's what Mike's strength is. One of his strengths, for sure.
I mean, for me, dude, I'll just let me say what I know. I know that Jay was in there. It was the method. He was like, dude, check this out. And he was working his tail off. And one thing, he had no resources. And the cool thing about Jay, he had got humble. But every conversation you have with Jay back in the beginning, like in 2017, it could be anything. It'd be like, yeah. Oh yeah, you got to sign the new lease on the building, but I ain't got no resources. Every conversation, you can talk to Jay. Yeah, hey man, Jay, you need that desk in there. I was about to move that desk, and I was, yep. Now you could use that desk if you want, but he was going to think, and he was used to having all these people, and so I would go in there and I would say, hey man, you got that whole thing laid out in the method, and he was like, yeah, you like it? He was like, yeah, I like it too, but I ain't got no resources. And so this was like
who took my magic wand? I can't get nothing done around here. It requires me and everything I do. This is not.
I wouldn't walk by his office no more. I had to walk the other way. But he would be in there begging, but somehow he'd pull you in, and he would start somewhere, and it would end up with, if I could just get some resources.
Oh man, that's so funny.
And then
that's how I felt every day too.
And then one day, when once the EXP moved, once the strategy changed, and he had a social media strategy. One, could you have done it without social media? Yes or no?
No.
Right?
No. 100% no.
So what he had, if you look at the laws that govern success, is he had a way to get attention, which was social media, which was live videos, which was already in his subconscious. All right?
Yep.
And he had a product and an offer that was compelling, that he could make, that was differentiated, that nobody knew about. And he already had people that would give him attention. And so once he had the formula that governed success, he was able to produce that content and produce value in the marketplace. And once he saw the thing go around one time, and he saw it around 2 times, he was like, oh yeah. We hit the social media goal.
Right.
And that's where it happened. And then nobody was doing that, which was the law that governed success. They were doing the lunch and learns.
Right.
And so Jay then went all in, Jay Kinder style, on social media and started creating the buzz.
I was
right?
And to be honest, I was lazy. The easiest way to create content is just to interview somebody and let them tell their story. And that's what I did every single day. I mean, me and Al were on videos every day. Hey, you joined EXP. Why? Hey, you joined EXP. Why? Over and over and over. They were sharing it. Facebook was giving it love. We created an audience.
Could you have done it like you did it without social media if you had to do email?
No. Not the way we did our business. No. But one of the funniest parts of the story to me was, so I'm trying, like, we were getting paid from our business units, right? So like, if I didn't make coaching make money, then I wasn't getting paid. So I understood that. So I was trying to sell coaching, right? So I joined EXP, did a launch, announced it on social media, and it went bananas because people were shocked that we had joined this company. But a lot of people were looking at it, but nobody. I mean, it created enough conversations. A few people joined, whatever. But I was strategically working on getting paid. We're used to getting paid a lot of money, so I wanted to get paid. So I'm going to help build that unit back up to where it was. And so I'm doing these calls, and I accidentally sent out an email in HubSpot because I had no resources. Just so you know, no resources. So I accidentally send an email out with my goddamn calendar open, fucking for the whole week. Like nothing. Like you could have set a call at 1 a.m. if you wanted to, right? And I accidentally send this out, and it's like my calendar goes, brrr, and I was driving home. We hit send, and I get in the car, and I'm driving home. By the time I realized that this happened, it's a 30-minute drive out to Aubrey, and I'm seeing it happen in my inbox. I'm like, oh shit. I couldn't fix it, right? I couldn't pull over and like it was just logistically not gonna happen. So my whole weekend was gone, right? Full of appointments. I'm like, fuck. All right, well this is gonna be great. I'm gonna sell coaching. So I get on these calls, and it was like one after another, and they tell me their problem, and I'll be like, dude, I gotta send you this email. Have you heard about EXP? It kept happening. It happened. It was just like anything else, right? There was a time in my business where I was going on 5 listing appointments a day. I learned how to iterate and make my process better because I had enough iterations, right? So I had all these iterations in a 3-day process. And it was like, this is an EXP. Everyone should be an EXP. There's nobody that shouldn't. Every person I talk to, your biggest problem is you should be part of this EXP. You don't need to pay me. I know wasn't selling coaching, and I was just being honest. I was like, you need to watch this video. Literally, honestly, it wasn't my intention. My intention was to help them. I was like, yeah, I can take your money, but honestly, you should just join us at EXP. Have you seen it? No, I don't know anything about it. Let me see the video. And so it kept happening over and over and over and over. I was like, that's when it clicked for me. I was like, yeah, that's the opportunity is at EXP. It's not pay me to help you. Right.
Yeah, it's not short money.
No, it was lifetime value.
I'm talking to hit the cameraman.
If it hadn't happened the way it did, if I hadn't accidentally sent that email, I probably still would have got it eventually, but I got it a lot sooner. I got it a lot quicker, and I stopped trying to sell coaching to get paid a little bit of money. And within 6 months, I was making more than I'd ever been paid myself. I've ever paid myself. Within 6 months of joining EXP by helping other agents join EXP. That was the.
And the crazy thing about that is we were doing masterminds, coaching, and we just we pushed it all in.
Technology.
And what happened was, a friend of ours. I'm gonna call him a friend because we ain't trying to let people clout chase on our video. But a friend of ours was sitting here one day, and he was sharing with me how much he was making. We were in Key West at a mastermind, and he said, "I'm moving to Puerto Rico." Do you remember that? We went off the beach up into the deal. I'll never forget it in my life. Because when
where were you at?
We were in Key West.
We were Key West. I'm trying to timeline wise where we're at.
Gove and Gene were there.
Right. Okay.
We were in Key West, and we were sitting by the pool. Nick Krim was there. We were sitting by the pool, and I'll never forget. Nick Krim had tight shorts on, super tight shorts.
Back then, he only had one pair of shorts. That's for you, Nick Krim. You only had one pair. He only had one pair of one swimsuit.
Yeah, he had these tight shorts on. I'll never forget.
They're like rainbow.
I was like, why was he wearing those? And they were tight. And he was telling a story, and then Gene, I was listening to him, and Gene was like, and I'm moving to Puerto Rico. And I was like, what'd you say? Where? Where's Puerto Rico? I didn't know where Puerto Rico was. I didn't know if it was next to Spain, if it was an island, if it was the capital of Spain. Puerto Rico could have been Puerto Rico could have been the capital of Spain, and I wouldn't have bet you.
Right.
And he was like, I'm moving to Puerto Rico. Where's that at? Colombia. Oh, okay. Puerto Rico, gotcha. He could have said whatever he wanted. And he's like, Puerto Rico. Is he Puerto Rican?
No, definitely not.
Well, I think he said it, and I believed him. I swear to you, because he was
I think he did.
Yeah, I think he said it.
Joke.
Yeah, and I was like, what do you mean? And he started telling the story, and I was like, oh, okay. And I remember thinking in my mind, moving to Puerto Rico, I thought, I don't know, dude. I just thought he was gonna move into a townhome somewhere. In my mind, it was it was either I had a vision of what I thought it looked like, and it wasn't that. But it was colorful, And then I learned it was an island, but I didn't know it was an island. I thought it was a country. I didn't know it was part of the Americas. And I was asking him, well, why are you going to move to Puerto Rico? And he was like, tax benefits. And then he had my full attention.
Right. You make a lot of money, you pay a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you don't want to pay a lot of money.
But how? But the truth is we went through that, and you know, and then other people started moving to Puerto Rico. Sheila Farrajon, AJ Maida. I'd reached out to him a couple times personally and looked at moving to Puerto Rico. My wife said no, and during the pandemic, I built a garage gym. And one day Jay came over, and he was sitting. You know where you're sitting?
Not exactly.
You were on the golf cart.
On the golf cart, sitting on the floor of it? Yeah.
He was sitting on the floor of the golf cart.
Because there wasn't any chairs other than your one chair in there.
Yeah, and I looked at Jay, and I said, dude, you need to move to Puerto Rico. And it was a Friday. And we were just talking. I was like, because, I don't know, I've always, like, kind of dared Jay to do things first. And sometimes that works. And we got to talking about it, and however it boomeranged back to me because I wasn't thinking I was moving. I didn't think it was on the table, but Jay somehow that day talked to his wife, and we ended up at the pool. Do you remember this? So we're at the pool. We're up on the edge, and we're up on the edge of the pool, and
it's one of those things you don't even think is a possibility. Like
I didn't even think it was even ever possible for my wife to say we could move to Puerto Rico.
Hell
but,
no.
but Jay was getting a little traction, and I was getting a little feedback from my wife. Jay told Amber he thinks he might want to move to Puerto Rico, and I was like, you should tell her that's a good idea. I was like, do you understand why? Blah 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 blah. And she didn't understand. We had talked briefly about it, but she didn't understand. So we're going through the whole kind of conversation. We end up at the pool. Me and Jay are in the water. They're up on the ledge. And we had those Yeti little things, and we're just hanging out in the pool. And Jay was like,
and honestly, we're living next door to each other in the best neighborhood you could possibly
happiest I've ever been.
Me too. And I'm a country boy, so I didn't want to move in town. My wife put a lot of pressure on me. Mike had moved into this neighborhood, so we moved into the same neighborhood. Our kids are hanging out. They live a block apart. Literally, they walk back and forth to our house. And we were. It was a good spot. To think that our wives might entertain.
But what happened was Jay saw the entertainment. He saw the window, and Jay did a Jay Kinder special and went full court. All I know is my wife said, this is exactly what went down. My wife came to me and said, well, Jay's talking to Amber and says we need to go out and visit. And I'm thinking December. This is July. I was like, yeah, we can go visit. We'll go this year, check it out. She's like, they're wanting to go August 1st. I was like, August 1st.
August 1st.
And she said one thing, and she was like, do you think we should go? And I was like, you should have never said that. August 1st sounds like a good date. And I was like, she's open to go, and we're going August 1st.
What?
I couldn't believe she even said it. She opened up the window. You were already working. You might already had your plane tickets by then. You was going with or without me.
I don't remember if I did or not, but I know this. When you're making the kind of money, and the projections are clear, when you're making this kind of money, you can't say no. You can't say no to keeping all of it, most of it. I mean, it's just and you don't know what you don't know. I mean, do I love the Caribbean? Absolutely. Do I know shit about Puerto Rico at the time? Fucking no. I knew nothing about Puerto Rico. Nothing. Never. I mean, I never even been. I've been to Puerto Rico only to stay the night in a hotel just to get back on a flight and go to BVI. It's the most amazing place I've ever been. Now, I mean, I didn't know that, and I didn't even know that when I packed our shit up and they put it all in the truck, and they filled up that whole damn truck full of all our shit, and we're leaving. Our neighbors are waving by. We miss you. We're gonna miss you guys. And Do I know it's going to be amazing? I don't. I don't know that our kids are going to love it. They're going to live their best life ever. I didn't know that, but I know now. You couldn't pry these kids. We've been here 2 weeks. The kids ain't never. You couldn't get them to leave. But that opportunity doesn't exist.
Nope.
Just selling real estate. No, it doesn't. But it exists if you're at EXP, and that's the thing I hope people get from this story is there's a better way. You know, there's always a better way. You can try to do it on your own, or you can try to do it with people that can help you do it better, bigger, and faster. And the only platform I know of that can do that is EXP. You ain't doing it with Keller Williams, you ain't doing it with Remax, you ain't doing it with Cole Baker, and you ain't doing it anywhere else. But you could do it if you're with us at EXP. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is EXP gave us a strategy to leverage our strengths and do it in a way to live a life that was meaningful relationships, you know, Ray Dalio.
Right.
You know, I call it life by strategy, whatever you want to call it. You know, I feel like, I'll be honest with you, every single day since we've been here, we've been getting up in the morning, going on a walk or a run through the nature reserve every morning, every single morning. We don't miss. Jay shows up like clockwork. I can look out my window, would give, you know, this morning I was a little late. I woke up like 2 minutes before I texted you though, but usually I look up and Jay's already out there. There's a point when I'm on the walk or the run, like my brain kind of wakes up, kind of like I just took a hit of espresso.
Right.
And then I get home, I jump in the pool, you know, and then I get dressed and you know, right now our kids are still in school, and there's been a lot of things over the last 2 weeks, you know, but to be honest with you, every time about 11 o'clock in the morning, maybe 10 every day, and because it always starts, you'll see, it starts out a little cloudy, and then back where we used to live, it would just get worse. Here, no matter what, it blows over, and it's like blue, clear sky, the most beautiful day every single day. You know, today I was cutting up pineapples. You know, I don't know, I just feel like, I think that from the mountains, there's rainforest, and y'all will see, you can click a link up in the right here in the top corner, and you'll see our trip to the rainforest when we go.
We got our queen calling, Veronica.
So,
I gotta answer this.
Yeah, check that out.
All right, you got this.
But yeah, I'm beyond excited, and I'll tell you this though. When I landed, I had never seen my house before, and I'll tell you, when I first walked in, it was pretty cool because 2 of my kids had woken up and one was still asleep in the Sprinter, and my wife's walking them in. And we have all these mattresses on the floor, and you know, you're trying to take it all in. And I remember that next day, you know, me and Jimmy, a buddy of mine who flew out here with me, I remember being able to take my 2 biggest ones down to the beach and like really show them perspective from where we were to where we were living. And over the course of the next 2 weeks, from being able to go to what they would now call Sunday Beach, which is kind of like this beautiful sand, to the wave beach, to the air hanger park, to the water park with the lazy river, from Jay's cat to my dog, everybody seems like they're loving them some Puerto Rico.